Well, here we are again, as happy as can be, as my old friend would say. Another 49ers win, another 49ers week, another 49ers win, and it's 4:30 a.m. So this might be a little bit shorter than my usual videos. I want to go to bed. I've been suffering from extreme exhaustion and insomnia, and it's kind of all caught up with me. Fortunately, the game didn't lend itself to putting me to sleep. There was a lot going on tonight. Um, I'll start with the positives because I'm tired of people on social media screaming at me for pointing out things I don't like. Um, it seems to be a 49ers content creator. You have to be unendingly positive at all times. So I'll try my best. Um, Offense brilliant. Best I've ever seen Brock Purdy play. I mean, there's been some good games in his short career. I'm not gonna decry that. He's a fantastic quarterback, and I am one person that, in spite of being apparently negative, has consistently said that Brock Purdy is very, very, very good, an excellent quarterback, and he's proving it every week at the moment. I don't know whether it's confidence returning from the recovery of the toe or just the general comfort feeling in the offense. I do feel like at the moment Shanahan's calling more plays that suit him and also calling a few more shots downfield because he has confidence in Purdy to get it done on third down, which was a big part of why we did so well tonight. Yeah, so he was excellent. Obviously, every time he's good, other players have to show up alongside him. So shout out Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle. I hope Kittle's okay with that ankle injury. I'll give Jake Tongas a shout out. I thought he did really well when he came in for Kittle. Jennings, yeah. Kendrick Bourne earned $500,000, which ain't a bad night all round. And in the absence of Ricky Pearsall, we got a little Demarcus Robinson sighting, which was quite nice. He looks an impressive player to me. We've just not managed to get a lot out of him. Hopefully, as the season wears on, he can be a bit of an unsung hero, a bit of a weapon for us later in the season. Especially as we got to the playoffs, we are officially in the playoffs as of last night, due to the carnage, due to the carnage that ensued in Detroit. No, was it in Detroit? Yeah, it was in Detroit, wasn't it? Or it might have been. No, it was in. I don't know. Pittsburgh and Detroit, anyway. There was chaos at the end of that game. Ended with the Lions losing that qualified us for the playoffs. So that's great news. We're there. At the end of the day, we're 3 games from appearing in the Super Bowl, wildcard, division, conference. It might be just division and conference if we can get to the number one seed. We have to win our last 2 games for that, though. I'll come to why I don't think that's going to happen in a moment. Shout out special teams, excellent again. Forced a turnover, which turned out to be a big turnover. Really, I think it helped us seize the momentum of the game. But in general, the unit has been really good all year. It's finally getting its rewards. We're actually seeing less of it than usual. We haven't punted since November, so that's yeah. But Sky Moore was good on the returns again. Eddie Pinheiro was his usual self. He was very unlucky not to land a 64-yarder just before half time. And yeah, Brant Boyer deserves a lot of credit. I think when we talk about, oh, we hired a world class coordinator, I think we're missing the point. It was Brant Boyer, it wasn't Robert Saleh. That brings me to my whinge of the week. Constantly getting heat on social media for this, if I'm honest. I had one person screaming at me in the replies last week. I hope you've suitably calmed down. But yeah, the defense just wasn't good again, I'm afraid. I have doubts this team can make any noise in the playoffs with the defense playing the way it is. It's been dreadful for the foreseeable, to be honest. The last few games have been poor. Tonight was even poorer. We were facing a team that was mostly starting reserve offensive linemen. I think ended up on its third string centre. They had a 44-year-old at quarterback, and we couldn't make any noise at all. Now, people will say to me, oh, well, they're missing Bosa, blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry. That excuse is wearing so thin with me, it's ridiculous. If your entire pass, and I've said this all year, so I feel pretty consistent in saying it now. If your entire pass rush is predicated on one player, you've got a bad defensive coordinator. Now, I don't think Robert Saleh is a bad defensive coordinator, but ultimately, he's got Bryce Huff out there, he's got Gross Matos out there, he's got Samo out there, and he's got Cleve Farrell, and none of them did anything really worth of note tonight. CJ West had a nice play. Alfred Collins had a really nice play. It's the rookies that are showing up. Now, you can blame the players, and to a certain extent I do. Bryce Huff has basically done nothing to justify his addition besides one play early in the season. Gross Matos is constantly injured, and the other two are, they're not great players, but they're good players. They should be able to make some noise against teams, especially teams with depleted offensive lines. But we didn't. Again and again, we got done consistently. I think the more, to be fair to the pass rush, the more annoying thing in the first half was that Philip Rivers is finding open receivers within 2 seconds of his drop back. I don't know what you're supposed to do in that situation if your guys can't cover. Darrell Luter Jr. was absolutely horrible. I hope Ronaldo Green's back next week, otherwise we are in for a long night. Lenoir I didn't really see, so that generally means he had a good game. He did pick up a stupid penalty or two, but that's just part of the course. The two safeties were the usual selves. The mixed good play with infuriating ones. Jair Brown, largely responsible for a touchdown, but then forced the fumble on special teams. Malik Mustafa is his usual self. He flies to the ball. Sometimes he makes the tackle. Sometimes he doesn't. This is kind of my thing. Like, I don't care who you've got out there. The fundamentals remain the same. They may not make all-star plays, but I just want them to make average plays some of the time, and they just don't do it. Tatum Bethune looked a step off to me, coming back from injury. I thought he did okay. He got better as the game went on, so hopefully that's a sign that his rustiness is disappearing, although he went out of the game late. Eric Kendricks came in and managed to get himself on TV, which was nice. Like I say, Alfred Collins made a nice play. I think he's probably been the most impressive 49ers rookie, given how many were writing him off midway through training camp as he was struggling to adapt to the pros. Who else? Upton Stout. Upton Stout had a really nice game. As most teams have done, the Colts targeted him, but he didn't seem particularly fazed by it tonight. He got a nice couple of breakups. I thought he was one of the standouts on defense. But yeah, I suppose I'm ending on a bit of a downer there, but I'm just getting a little sick of being told I'm wrong about this defensive unit. They're simply not playing well. Yes, they're missing players, but some fundamentals are really lacking. We're blowing coverages, we're missing tackles. We get away with it because the offense scores 41 points, or however many it ended up being. The offense is putting points up, so we don't need to worry about it. Well, we do still, because ultimately we've got better teams coming up on the schedule. 48 points is what we got, but 41 were the offenses and 7 were brilliant, admittedly brilliant play by D. Winters, but yeah, 5 straight wins from a Lombardi, I've just read on Twitter. Well, that may well be true, but we need to find our identity again on defense. I'm not even asking for all-star players, just hold the team to a decent points total. Make all your tackles, stop blowing coverages, and maybe get 1 or 2 sacks. I'm not asking for pressure on every drop back, but it falls on the defensive coordinator, I'm afraid. He's got to find a way to get a little bit more out of this unit. He's done very well. He's improved us. Don't think people read that part when I write it. He's improved us without a shadow of a doubt, but we're still a level below where I think we're going to need to be if we're going to go further. We got 2 better teams coming up in the Bears and Seahawks. We need to win both for the number 1 seed. Hopefully we could do it. I don't know. Anyway, I said I was going to make this a short one, and I think this has ended up being my longest video, largely because I wanted to try and explain my slightly nuanced take in a world of hot takes on the defense, but I'm sure it won't help me, and I'm sure I'll get more screaming in the replies. Anyway, I'm happy we won at least, but I'm going to bed now. And I'll see you all again for the Bears game on the 28th, I believe it is. Well, it is our time anyway. And I'll be here, and a Merry Christmas to all of you. I don't think I'll be recording anything more before Christmas. Thank you for all your support so far. It's greatly appreciated. And you'll see more of me on Sideline of Sports and Niner Noise this week. I'm not quite done for Christmas yet. And I'll see you again soon. Happy holidays and go Niners.